everybody. Thanks for being here. Well, guess what? It didn't work out with our guest today, but you still get to join Brenda and I in a pretty interesting conversation. I hope you all have been able to look at our previous episodes. We've had some very incredible and interesting conversations with some guests. So please join us there and check out all of the episodes. And of course, please subscribe and comment if you can, share it if you can. That really helps us to reach as many people as we can. So thanks for that.
And
So
I
here we
would
go, Brent.
also say if you know of somebody that would be a great guest, come our way.
Yes. If you have an idea of somebody, a survivor or of any condition that has really impacted their life, please share. All right. So, Brenda, I heard that you had a very interesting visit in the past few days. Do you want to tell us about it?
What would you say if I said no?
We'll have to come up with a random chat, but I'm dog sitting, and I think the dog pooped somewhere because I smell something.
So I can tell you about my visit,
Yes.
and then we get back to the dog poop.
Yes, that's fine. Go ahead.
So on Wednesday, I spent the entire day at the hospital where I had been for 60 days after my stroke because I needed to have an MRI and I then needed to have a follow-up appointment with my neurosurgeon, which are words that 10 years ago I never thought I would ever have to say. But I'm saying that.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
and I think that just on a global level, maybe I should start with the punchline. The punchline is the MRI didn't show any new happenings in my brain. There's a
Thank
pause.
God.
The big question mark remains that because they can't say specifically what happened,
Right.
if it is the cavernous malformation we talked about, what the neurosurgeon had said to Jay when we were leaving the hospital to go to rehab was that there is a cumulative um increase of chance of reoccurrence year over
Okay.
year. And so
Okay.
Jay had said to me, like, for the past 6 years, he's gone to sleep with, like, is this going to happen again? Is this going to,
Yeah.
like, it's unsettling at best. And so
Yeah.
he, thank goodness, he never asked that specific question all my other visits, but this time he asked the doctor that question, and the doctor said, well, I do stand by that. If it is a cavernous malformation, but because they can't, they couldn't identify that that's exactly what it was. They kind of have to just say, "We'll just wait and see, watch and see."
Okay.
Which the like very relaxed Zen part of me is like, okay, but
Perfect.
the anxious person or version of me would say, "Wait a minute, I want to know what's happening. I want to know."
Yeah. You
But
want definite responses, and you're not going to get it.
you're right. Well, and I think the other interesting piece that came up is because, as you knew before, I had already gone to the ER twice before the stroke, and I was sent away twice. And the second time, they did say that they saw something in the CT, but it was, I can't even think what it's called, but basically it benign something rather than they saw.
Yeah.
I can't think of what they called it, but anyways, so I asked the neurosurgeon, and I think I also told you, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I just can't
Don't worry about it.
said that they had offered basically that they could do a spinal tap because that's how they could see if there was blood.
Mm-hmm.
But by the way, if we do that, it could make your migraine worse. So I said,
Oh, jeez. No,
on
thank
Earth
you.
would say, yes, give me that.
Yeah. Please make it worse. Please
Yeah.
do it.
So I said no, but I said to the neurosurgeon on Wednesday, if I had said yes, and if they saw the blood, which they probably would have, could they have done anything about it where this was? Because it's at the base of my brain. He said no. So like that leaves me with like, I was screwed no matter what. This
Yeah.
happened no matter what.
Yeah.
And who knows if things could have been um better prevented us and caught a little bit sooner. I mean, who knows? We'll never know. But
Yeah.
so so that's the punchline of the actual MRI. The interesting piece, which I don't know if Chris, our upcoming guest,
Mm-hmm.
will talk about this, but the way that I use the phrase that kicked up dust which,
Yeah.
and I mean, some people would be very dramatic and say PTSD, like,
Yeah.
yes. But the bottom line is, it's not very surprising that to walk into the building where all this happened, not only for me, but also for Jay,
Hmm.
like, it can't help but it's for to bring up all the feels.
Yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely.
and so like, and what's so interesting for me is there's this one place in the hospital that they call the healing garden. Now, I want to say right away, it is this beautiful indoor ancient with all this green. It's a beautiful, relaxing place, a beautiful place. And I have memories of being there in a wheelchair, puking all over the floor, being
Oh,
exhausted. Like, all of that was true at the same time. You know, for Jade, I just sit there and have a conversation, for me to have a coffee with him, for me to leave of my own volition, walk. I mean, clearly I'm using a walker, but I was walking is incredible, and yet it also brings back this flood of memories. So, and then Jay thought that it would be healing, and I said to him, I think something could be healing and difficult at the same time. You
yeah.
know, like I had this memory of, I think Jacob was probably around 2 and he had to get a vaccine. And so they gave him a shot. He has these big crocodile tears running down his cheek. And I say to him, you say thank you to the doctor. He looks at me like, why the fuck can I say thank you? He's crying and he said, thank you. I said, because the Lord hurts is helping you. So
Hmm.
I would say the same thing about what Jay thought was going to be healing doesn't mean it wasn't also difficult.
Absolutely. Yeah.
By that, what I want to say is that we took a little tour of the hospital. So the first place he took me was the waiting room where he and Lori. If you haven't seen Lori's episodes, please go back and watch Lori's episodes
Uh-huh.
where he and Lori were while I was in surgery. So that was kind of surreal to be there. And he said it hasn't changed at all in 6 years. And,
Wow.
and this room during the day is a waiting room for kind of outpatient procedures. But at night, they change it over to a waiting room for any, like a family room for anything
Right.
else going down. So we went there. Then we went to the 4th floor where my room was, where I was for 60 days, which has now been transitioned into for another purpose. I can't remember what the purpose is, but it's not no longer patient. This literally, I had no idea what I was in it, but it is literally right beside the ICU. So I had been in the ICU, and then I was in this room. But
Okay.
and
Was it like a step down room out of
um,
ICU?
you know what?
Like the next level down?
Good question. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay.
But so
No,
then
that's fine.
we stopped at the nursing station and we saw a nurse there that has been there for years. So I didn't remember her, but Jay remembered her. She remembered me. She gave me a hug. Like that, it was so meaningful to her that I came
Yeah.
up to see her and say thank you.
And I'm sure for her, it's like, yes, somebody made it and they're doing okay. And they want to see the positives too, you
Right.
know?
On that note, that's a segue into the third thing we did. It was like the trifecta of all kinds of stuff. In addition to the MRI appointment, so we went downstairs, and there's a big waiting time in between my MRI and my appointment with my neurosurgeon. So
Yes.
I just wanted to move around. So I was just walking on the main floor, and as I came back around, they had actually spotted the what are the physiotherapist that was with me when I was there, and he remembered her name.
Wow.
He saw her going, she was about to take the stairs, so he called her, and she stopped. They waited for me to come back around because I was walking, and
Mm-hmm.
he recalls her saying to be at some point, now, I don't remember any of this, but that she had said to me, you know, someday you're going to come back here and we're going to race in the hall. I don't have it here, but my, walker, we called that Ferrari, I think it is because it's bright red.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that.
So of course, Jay, because I call him my personal paparazzi, he of course took a picture And
Mm,
it meant so much to her. And she said to me as we were leaving, people have no problem sharing the things that they're upset about. Rarely do they come and say thank you, just a positive. She said, it means so
right.
much to me. And so I have to say, I'm trying to hold on to that, even though it's kept all kinds of feelings.
Emotions. Yeah, I can imagine.
Like these people that are in the serving like this in the medical community, they don't have to do this. They're doing it, and that they're, I don't know that they realize the difference that they make. So much so that years later, like I said, even if I don't remember the specifics, it meant a lot to Jay too, to see her, to be able to thank her.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay,
that,
well, that's wonderful.
yeah,
So
and
let me ask you a question.
please, thank you.
So while you were walking around, I know it had to be difficult. And like you said, at the same time, like, wow, this is amazing. And I made it. And people were happy to see you and they remembered you after 6 years, then that you meant something to them and they were really invested in your care and invested in your outcome. So that had to kind of, I don't know, because I did go back to the original hospital I was in, but it wasn't the original hospital, but it was the same team at a different hospital. So I didn't have that feeling of the same place in the same ICU unit. Yeah. But I have to say that when I needed to do follow-ups, I had to go into New York City and take the train in. Somebody usually went with me. And we had to go to the hospital to meet the neurosurgeon and go over what we're going to do next. And like you said, I had I think I had a CT angio. We did a few of those. So it was nice because as soon as I got in there, it's amazing to me that the entire neurosurgical team for Dr. Berenstein, he has the same people from answering the phones to his nurses, to his staff that help him in the operating room. And he will not work with anybody else because they know each other's while they don't even have to talk. They know they're in sync. Right. So that's incredible. Like, and when I called to set the appointment, they're like, "Oh, hi, Tracy. How's it going?" I'm like,
yeah.
How did you know? Like, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we remember you. You're doing well." And I'm like, "Yeah." Over the phone, they didn't even see my face. I'm sure they got my chart out, but
Right.
it really shocked me and it made me feel good that, okay, something about my case was memorable and they cared. Because it wouldn't have, I stopped going to Dr. Berenstein only because he started treating just pediatric aneurysms and brain injuries and stuff. So I went more local right around, I went to Stony Brook, which is 20 minutes from my house. So that made it easier to get follow-up care.
Right.
But I bet that after 22 years, I can still call his team and someone will be like, I'm talking about even the staff that would transport and whoever was working in that unit with him in that department, everybody remembered me. It shocked me. It really did. But, yeah, I didn't have the feelings of, oh my gosh, PTSD. I'm getting anxious. I'm getting upset. Because it was in the same building. And not that I would have remembered because I was so drugged up when I got brought in by the ambulance that there's no way I would have recognized anything.
Right.
So I can't relate to that, but seeing that team and having people remember you, that definitely meant something to me. And I'm sure it did for you.
Well, I would rather be remembered for something else, but yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, you did. You remembered that you made it. And you're doing well and you have your challenges, but you know what? You're doing it and you're adapting and you've accepted the new you, like we've talked about. And your family is still so loving and supportive and you are blessed. So that's something to hold on to. So,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I, in my preparation for what we thought was going to be our conversation with Chris today, I read something that made me think of a quote that I really hold on to all the time, which is it's about direction, not speed. And so often I feel like, why am I not as far along as I thought I was going to be at this point? But you know what? Then even little wins, and I'm going to take wins today because who knows what tomorrow will bring. Tomorrow might be but so I'm taking wins today. And if I find a reason to smile and laugh, I'm going to find it.
Yeah, we are. That's what we do best.
As I said in reference to, because this happened on Wednesday. I told you on Thursday, I was really wiped out.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah.
Because I think just the emotion of all just kind of like, I'll be honest with you, because I know, Trey, you say all the time, like, I never see you not happy, not positive. If you don't talk to me on Thursday put me under a little bit. But it was okay.
I'm sure.
Because the other thing that I hold on to is it'll pull me under, but I love it because I'm going to come back up. I'm going to take another breath.
Yeah, you need the time. You have to feel the feels, and you have to be okay with that. Like, you earned that day of not, oh, I'm sorry, we have a grandfather clock here where I'm dog sitting, and it's right by my head. So bear with me. I think it's only going to ding 2 times. But okay, one more.
One for good luck.
Yes. But, what you bring up is interesting for me, because when you talk about how drained you were the next day, I can recall just having to go into that place, the hospital where you were, and have to deal with the feelings that you were feeling. Then you're navigating with your walker, and thank goodness Jay was with you. So all of that mental energy to do all that, to navigate through the hospital, and then all of a sudden you have to switch because he saw somebody you knew, or he knew. So now you're in conversation mode.
There, right.
And that's all the synapses working, and going around the damaged part. And that takes, what did they say? Like for us, it's like 3 to 5 times more energy to do even the simplest things. And of course, you're going to be exhausted afterwards. So not only were you walking through the hospital, feeling what you were feeling about being there in such a horrible condition, and then you're just kind of like meandering around, and then Jay's like, oh, hey, look, it's the physiotherapist. And then you're like, what? And now your brain has to like click back into, okay. And we don't really give ourselves enough credit of how much energy that takes. And we used to be able to, in our previous jobs, in college, and in our previous life, switch back and forth, no problem. Now it's a job.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have to say, because you're probably much better at reading the images of what they mean. For me, what am I looking? I'm seeing it on the screens. But what I did notice was you can literally see the part of the brain that is dead.
Really?
Yeah.
It's about how big was it on the scan?
It's about this big. That's brain.
Wow.
And so, like, to see that, I think was, again, 2 things being true at one time. Like, it was good for me to see it because I need to see the reality, but it's also hard. And I asked the question again. There was a couple questions that you would think that I would have asked earlier, but I hadn't. So I said,
now you know what's going on.
Well, I said, well, not really. I still don't, but the thing is, I mean, but I said to him, like, after 6 years, can my brain still learn and still?
Ooh.
And he said, because not that I was trying to trap him at all, but I just kind of know, like,
in his opinion, right?
Because I foolishly or naively, or I guess just listening to the common knowledge that was out there, I thought that there was this window that was going to close. Right. And so he said to me, well, and he corrected me because I said, it's not like I can compare that part. That part is gone. But I can rewire to do things.
Neuroplasticity.
Honestly, it's amazing. I mean, it's as you said, it's exhausting to have to be the things that I learned over 50 years ago, having to relearn them now and relearn them in a different, less efficient way. But I can relearn, which is amazing. It's a miracle. I really do believe it's a miracle.
Yes.
I really am hopeful and positive most of the time.
Everybody has their days.
Every now and then I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Why am I still having to deal with this? Why is this not better? But hey, and I confess to Jay that because what's interesting is on Tuesday, it wasn't like singing. I wasn't worried about anything. And then on Wednesday morning, when I woke up to get dressed to go to the hospital, suddenly I felt like my heart was racing. But I paused my stomach. I said, I think I'm actually nervous. My body's telling me I'm really nervous.
You're
And
anxious, yeah.
so I did the MRI. You know what? We both know that when you've been in that machine, you've been poked it, put it, nothing like goes.
Bang, 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 bang,
Sweat.
bang, bang.
And
And
with tools, there's a tiny, tiny little piece of me that is hoping that the doctor's gonna look at the images afterwards and say, "Look at this, your brain is healing."
well, healing to them is that you're doing what you need to do because the neurotransmitters made a new path.
That's right.
And what's dead is dead. And I learned, and I don't understand this part. I read that when you have a rupture from an AVM, cavernous malformation, brain aneurysm rupture, when that blood rushes out of that vessel, it splatters everywhere. So I guess the initial space around where the rupture happened is what goes dead immediately.
Right.
But then, do you know how many seconds it was that once blood hits an area that it starts to close?
Teach me. I don't know.
Oh, I'm asking if you knew because there is a number, and maybe I'll research it and add it. A little figure, in the edit. But what I'm confused about is they said yes, you have brain damage. Part of the brain that ruptured is now dead. So now, how big is that space? Yours was like this, right? I don't know how big mine was.
Well, if you look at your images, you could probably see it.
I tried, and my ventricles look weird. One looks much smaller.
Okay.
But I don't see a gray spot per se. That would say this is dead right now. So my other question that I think about a lot is if the blood bursts, if the vessel bursts and the blood, of course, splatters everywhere and then starts to seep up into the subdural area, the cranium's blocking it, the skull's blocking it, and you have like a little space and then your brain. So now on our images from when it happened, it'll be bright white all around your brain. That's blood.
Right.
And it'll light up where the blood was. So if the blood had touched the entire outside of the brain, did it kill? It couldn't have killed all of those. We would be comatose. We wouldn't have made it. And I guess that happens in certain ruptures. That I think mine was more of a leak at first, and then it could seal itself off, and then the bigger rupture happened when I went unconscious and had the seizure and the stroke. So I guess my next visit, I'll ask that. But again, when you go to the neurosurgeon, it's, I have a better relationship with my neurosurgeons now, but I had a different neurosurgeon that wanted to see another thing. And they don't want to hear, what is this? How come that happened? What does that mean? They're like, we saved your life. Like,
right.
We saved your life. We did what we could do. I don't know why. They really don't know.
Right.
And it is still a mystery. And that's why it's a miracle, because there's no human explanation for a lot of the stuff that we dealt with.
Absolutely.
So I sit back and I look at my scans, and I remember one visit I had to go to the neuro-ophthalmologist because I had that left field. So I saw him after like 2 years after the initial rupture. I didn't see him in the hospital. And he put the images up of the initial rupture. And my sister was with me. And she's like, well, what is that? And what is that? And he said, that's blood. That's where, the rupture happened, deep brain near the thalamus. He's pointing to all of those things. And then I asked the questions and I said something. And my sister asked the question that every layperson would have asked. Something very, not really difficult to answer. And then I jumped in and answered it for the doctor because I had done so much research. And the doctor turned around and looked at my sister and said, see, she's smarter than you with half a brain. And I'm like, yeah, to my sister.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, that was kind of rude. Like, I felt bad for my sister. I'm like, no, she knows a lot. I just happen to know the terminology. But I was like mad at him for saying that to my sister. But yeah, but what does half a brain mean? Was he just saying that flippantly, like as a half joke? Did he mean that I'm working with really half a brain and then the neuroplasticity is kicked in enough that I can survive and do what I need to do? So those are like the deeper questions I have. And you have to have a neurosurgeon that will take the time. And I usually, the doctors just want to come, do their thing, the surgeons, follow up. This is what's next.
Right.
Yeah. And you want to ask all the quality of life questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not we save your life. Go on.
Yeah. We need to know, what does life look like now and the next 25, 30 years? And they will say, just keep doing therapy. Just keep doing what you're doing because it's working. And there's more to it that they don't want to answer. They don't have the time for. So sometimes when I've seen Dr. Fiorella at Stony Brook for some of my follow-ups, and he's just like, yeah, he's leaning back on the chair with, like this. And thank goodness the nurse practitioner or one of the nurses there is a friend of mine now. So she's kind of taking notes and putting stuff in the computer as he's talking, but he's ready to wrap it up. And I'm like, hold on a second, and I keep asking questions, and I'm sorry that you go back to appointments, but I came all the way here and I want some more in-depth answers. And I'm not rude about it. I'm not pushy about it, but it's something that's on my mind. So I make sure to ask them. And not everyone does that. They just accept, all right, you're busy. Okay, thanks. Bye. See you in 2 years or a year or whatever.
Well, I would suspect that because, and I don't know if you put the numbers of survival rates for how many ischemic versus hemorrhagic strokes.
Yeah, that information is out. Yeah.
But I think that I would guess that they kind of look at, okay, already hemorrhagic stroke is not common, and survival is even less common. So look what we did.
You know what? I didn't know that until I did research for the business that I'm doing now, because I'm working on presentations and pitches and stuff. So the facts are out, but I never saw that hemorrhagic is so much more uncommon.
Yeah.
And I never read that before.
I think it's like 85% are ischemic.
Really?
15% are hemorrhagic. And then of that 15%, many of them die on the way to the hospital if they even make it.
Wow.
So like the fact that we're here talking, I mean, it sounds dramatic, but it really is a freaking miracle.
Right. So you were talking, we had a 15% chance of making it to the hospital. And since we made it, we're 7.5% that we're in that window.
You'll look up the numbers. I don't know what the actual numbers are.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're different in Canada.
They're rare. Yes. So the fact that we're here, the fact that we can find reasons to laugh and and be grateful is miracle on top of miracle on top of miracle.
Yeah. And we have so many reasons to be thankful, and to keep going. Yes. I mean, even as we go through things and we have more challenges, and then we figure it out, and then we adapt to it, and then we change our technique, or we know we have to rest. And some people just feel like, I can't do this anymore. And they go into the giving up and the depression and and I try to tell people in the support group that we had, and the people I talk to in general that have had some kind of injury or some kind of life-changing experience, that, you're going to have those days, but you can't stay there. You can't live there.
Right.
And you don't know what tomorrow.
Have a whole bag. An overnight bag, okay, but not whole big suitcase.
Yeah. And you have to have that inner strength to say, today sucked. It was really shitty, but I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow, because from day to day, have you ever made plans and you're like, let's do dinner on Thursday. And then Thursday comes and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah. I think
you have to reschedule.
I will say, when people ask me something, I say, yes, in theory, but I will confirm on the day off because I have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, and it's important.
Even when you go to sleep, you think, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, you go to sleep and you wake up and you're like, who the hell is this person?
Exactly.
I was fine last night.
Right.
Every day and every moment, you don't know exactly how you're going to feel. You could feel very energetic, and then 45 minutes later, the fatigue hits you. and you feel like you're in a fog and you can't make decisions and your body just doesn't want to move the way you need it to move. And you have to have people in your life that understand that and don't think you're blowing them off or making excuses, because it's not an excuse. It's our reality. So, that's why people, I understand, they say my circle got much smaller after this happened, because you have a big circle of friends, but then you understand the true friends that get you inside and out, and they can empathize with you and relate and say, okay, I get it. No problem. Let's reschedule. And then if you got circles of friendships, like the rings of the outside friends. And then as they get closer to you, and, those people stop calling you after a while on the outside. They're like, oh, she's just going to bail. I'm not going to bother. But we still want to be asked.
Absolutely.
We still want to be invited, just with the little caveat that it might not work out. And I won't know until sometimes even an hour before I'm leaving, because a headache could just come out of nowhere.
Right.
I could have looked outside and the glare from the sun could hit me just the right way and boom, trigger a headache. And people could be like, you were just fine. We were going to go to wherever. We were going to, like this time of year, we'll go to the nursery and get plants and stuff. And, and I might be like, it's too sunny out. What do you mean it's too sunny out? And Lisa could have, if you go back to her video, she describes it perfectly, and she found those glasses, which is phenomenal. They're expensive, she said, and I did link that company to her episode. So if anyone's triggered by glares and bright lights and blue screen glares, go back to our 2 episodes with Lisa, and she'll describe what she goes through and where she found something that helps her tremendously and uses them daily.
Right.
And the link is in our description of that episode.
But I think what's interesting when you say if something triggers you, because what triggers you today might not trigger you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or it might be something new. We never know. It's not like we can plan for it. And as much as we use our calendars, we can't put our calendar. Okay, tomorrow the weather will trigger me. Well, the next day, it'll trigger me. The next day, it's not conversation. It doesn't work like that. You don't know.
We don't know. But you know what I do? I do.
You just said
I've learned to do stuff around the house. I'm dog sitting, and I know the puppy, who's adorable, Finn, but he's not fully potty trained yet. And I'm sure he poops somewhere. I'll deal with that later.
What did he do? What did you do?
Yeah. What he do is he can crap anywhere and chew up. Oh, that's something else I wanted to tell you. On the second day I was here, somehow he found my glasses either on the bedroom nightstand and got to them, or on the side table in the den. And I put my glasses down to look at my computer or the phone, and I forgot to put them back on, and I went into the kitchen or wherever, I don't know. But the next morning I was looking everywhere for my glasses. So I put them out, I put the dogs outside, and I'm looking and I'm searching. And I go into the bedroom, the guest room where I stay, and I look down and there are my glasses. I'm like, oh, there they are. I pick them up and I see all smudges and marks. And I'm like, oh, that must be his saliva. You must have just, but no, I took a closer look and I kind of rubbed and I'm like, no, those are actual teeth marks, claw scratches. Oh my God, he destroyed them. And then I went to pick them up. One of the arms kind of flopped over. I'm like, oh my God. So luckily, my last set of glasses, I got prescription sunglasses because I had never had them before. And I said, you know what? You really need those when you're driving. I have the visor, but sometimes it's too low, the sun, and I'm driving into the sun. So now I could look like a movie star because I took my sunglasses out of the car and I'm using them indoors. And it's fine now because the house is very bright, but at night it gets very dark in here, even with the lights. And I'm like, what are you doing, Finn? So I can wear these if I need to see the TV and stuff, and I feel foolish, but it's funny because then I remembered my mom was very sensitive to the light, to sunlight and bright lights. And a lot of times she would wear regular sunglasses, and we're like, Mom, really? We're in the mall. You can take those off. And she's like, oh my God, these lights. And we used to make fun of her, and now I get it, and these are very helpful indoors. but I still need reading glasses to look close at my screens. So that's why I don't need them right now.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what he does, do. And I forgot what the original do was. What I do. Oh, I remember. It just came back to me.
Okay.
I have something in my calendar, or if I'm trying to make plans, I look at the week's weather and
can predict what's going to happen.
yeah, because if it's a super rainy day and I know that for me to get to the car and not be drenched and not be able to see right when I'm driving, and heavy rain affects how I see the road. Sometimes I can't even see the lane.
Right.
And I'll be like, you know what? It's supposed to rain really heavy on Thursday. Maybe how does Friday look to you? And it could be sunny. Or one of the reasons why I won't make plans really in the rain is because of the shunt. Do you get that weather change pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it usually the day before. The weather person would say, okay, in 2 days, we're going to get hit with this amount of rain. And you could see on the weather maps, the front, the L's and the H's and where they're going to happen. Well, as those are moving toward us, the day before the rain's supposed to happen, that's when it hits me. And my niece knows it so well for me. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, Em, I'm so tired. I feel like that weight is pushing down on the top of my head. And I just have to close my eyes. And I feel like the whole day I nap on and off while I'm watching TV, or I try to do something on the computer. And so I know I'm not. Some days it's not like that. It's not that bad. But as soon as the rain starts, it kind of lets up. So I guess it's just the transition of the front coming in that affects me. So I definitely know, lie low on those days. Yeah, make a plan to do something, short and sweet. Doesn't need much movement or brain power. Maybe someone wants to come over for a visit.
A lot of what I do in spurts. Like I'll do 10 to 15 minutes and then I go rest. Then 10 to 15 minutes more, just because, and that's a positive that has happened over the past few years, is that my ability to kind of replenish my energy is quicker. Because it used to be like, if I do something, it might take me the whole next day to recover. Now it's like, okay, if I give myself a half an hour, I might have built up enough energy that I can go back to do a little bit more. But I think to really kind of be able to break down tasks, more manageable pieces, which I have to say, that's a lesson that I wish I would have learned and practiced before.
Yeah. Right. In life, before the stroke. Yeah. And everybody, it's good advice for everybody. But more so for us, because as we're concentrating so hard on getting a task done, whether it's cleaning the house or working on a project, or if I was scrapbooking, after that 20 minutes or so, your brain just feels like, I can't do anymore. I hit a wall, I say. And I just have to walk away from it, because at that moment, that part of my brain that's working real hard is exhausted, and it has only been 15 minutes. So, like you said, go rest, lay down, close your eyes. Sometimes I just have to sit and close my eyes in a quiet room, and then it replenishes. And sometimes I just have to totally ignore what I was doing before. And that's why I feel like I'm ADD sometimes, because I will do, like, I'm cleaning out my fridge, and then I'm like, okay, I'm exhausted. My back hurts now. And, my eye, I can't see behind the back of the fridge. And I'm just like, okay, walk away from it. There's the garbage bag. And I'm like exhausted. And I have to get the garbage bag out to the bins outside, because it's going to start to smell. So now I'm tired now. My brain's tired. And now I'm trying to walk after knee surgery around the back of the house to get to the garbage bins. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need to sit down first. And there are people like, what? Oh, just bring it to the garbage can. And I'm like, the amount of energy it's going to take to keep my balance and carry the garbage bag and not have my cane, because it's the one hand I can use.
Right.
That's not going to work. So luckily, I have a very helpful niece who, when she comes in, I'm like, can you just bring that out for me? And you need people like that in your life. And I feel terrible for people who don't have that help and that support, because everything, like we talk about all the time, it takes energy, but 3 to 5 times more energy than the average person. So, that's a very good tip of the day, Bren.
Well done, Derek.
Yeah, and it's do your tasks, but do it in spurts. right? Like 15, 20 minutes and just go stop and rest. And then the battery level comes up a little more. And then, phew, it's being used up.
But I have to say, for me even, I've had to categorize my rests. Like, if I rest, but I'm on my phone, that's not real rest.
Mhm.
I have to close my eyes, turn things off. That's a real rest. But sometimes I only need the first one. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just need to sit. I can still keep talking. Sometimes I need to lie down. I can look at my phone or read or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to turn everything off.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned what my body needs, depending on what's going on. And the other thing, sports, yes, rest, yes. But I would also say that I've tried to be better at resting before and after.
Yes, that's important.
To get ready for something, then kind of like do this spurt of whatever I'm doing and then rest afterward.
Right. And for the holidays we just passed, I'm sure you had to really plan on the dinners you were making or the bread or whatever. And you knew I better take it easy the day before and save up my energy. And you knew the next day or the day after that, forget it, you're shot. So I totally get that. So you know what? I love these chats with you because you completely get it. And although our conditions are very different, we do go through so many of the same things. And I cherish that relationship and friendship because, I can talk to all my fully able-bodied friends and family and they really don't. They don't get it. And it's not their fault, like you said. Yeah. And thank God they don't know what I feel like.
That's right.
But so on that note, I'm going to show you these little pups real quick because they are adorable and they're Frenchies. Come here, Finn. Wait, I got to unplug first. Hold on. It's going to look really weird for a second. You're going to look at their light. All right, here we go. There's the puppy is Mr. Finn. Look at those ears.
Oh, and
And there's his big sister, Sally. Sally's like
Sally looks a little bored with what's going on.
No, she's a big potato and she loses her energy fast, like us. And Finn is only a few months old. Say hi, Finn.
Lots of energy.
He's got amazing eyes and those ears kill me. Yeah. So I left that screen door open so he can go in and out, but I'm sure he poops somewhere. But yeah. So going back to my glasses, the people that I'm sitting for, as soon as they saw my post on Facebook, he called me and he's like, how much did they cost? Totally want to replace them. I'm like, yeah, they're kind of expensive. He goes, I don't care. You're doing us a huge favor. We're so embarrassed by our son's actions. So I have to say, I have very supportive and loving puppy parents.
That's great.
Of everyone I sit for. They're just great. And so I'm very lucky to have them in my life. So my tip of the day is even here, and I'm not doing much. I had to go out to the store yesterday and get a few things while I'm still here. But I love when I'm dog sitting because I have it blocked out on my calendar. And unless it's something like this that I don't have to go, I love just being here with the dogs, going outside and sitting outside and, doing what I have to do for the dogs. And then if it rains, I really love it because I can sit in their den with their little fireplace and just snuggle with the dogs and watch my stupid crime shows and reality TV. So, I look forward to dog sitting. Sometimes it's a lot of work, but usually as the puppy gets older, they settle down. So now the doggies are a little older and Finn is the newest addition. So he keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. Just like Jake used to when he was a baby.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So now Sally was a puppy when I was watching her big brother, Charlie. And they decided to get Charlie a sibling because he was getting older and slower and they didn't want him to just sit there and sleep all day. So they got Sally and she was, oh my gosh, a handful. She didn't sit down. She was a maniac. She'd jump on the couch and then attack your ears and bite your hair. And, I would have to put her in a football hole just to calm her down and squirming. So Finn's he's half the energy that Sally was, so I'm thankful.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, are you sure? You sure you just had knee surgery? I'm like, no, I'm still walking slowly. I have my cane. So I still watch every step I take, and that's due to, left side weakness, plus the pain of the knee, not so much, but the ankle's been bothering me now. So, you know?
Are you still wearing your AFO?
Yes, but I have to get a new one because I lost some weight and now that's not fitting right.
Okay.
So I have to get the doctor put in a note to the prosthesis and orthosis company and said, she needs a new one because my left calf is pretty skinny now. My right one's much bigger, but that's where all the muscle tone is. So after the knee surgery and the weight I've lost, I have to go back and get recasted and fitted and get a new one. So that's one thing on my list for next week.
Okay.
But yeah, so my tip of the day is listen to your body. And when you make plans, watch the weather.
And enjoy the little things like going and spending time with the dogs.
Yeah. And to me, that's therapeutic. And it's someone else's house there. I'm blessed that the people that I sit for, they want me at their house. So it looks like someone's there and it's not sitting empty. And, get the mail, take care of the dogs. It's just nice. It's like being at an Airbnb just for a few days.
Nice.
So I'm here till Tuesday. So it's a nice little break from my house, with the craziness that's there sometimes. So it's like a little getaway with doggies.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Excellent. Okay.
So
good luck finding the doo-doo.
yes, the doo-doo I have to search for now. And I wanted to tell you that I'm posting last week's recording when I went to the doctor. This is an extra special episode. My doctor, who's how does he say it? I can't even think. A physicist. So he works on the whole body and building people back up and treating nerve pain and after strokes and amputees and all kinds of things. Right. And he's also a wound specialist. He's brilliant. Wow. So I had to get my injections for my arm and my hand, but he backed off of the ankle injections I get because of the knee surgery. He doesn't want to mess with the healing process of that. So
sure.
When I went there, he was going to be a guest on the podcast, but he doesn't have any time to spare. So I said, well, would you let me record my visit? He's like, yeah, if you're comfortable with it. Yeah. So he let me record the entire visit. And let me tell you, it is so interesting and educational. So if you have spasticity, tightness, pain, you need to look into the neurotoxin treatments, the injections. Now, there's Botox, but I use Dysport, Dysport. And it's fascinating, the process of everything. And he goes into great detail of what he does and the exact muscles it's amazing. It's what he's targeting. And he uses the EKG kind of stuff he puts the wires on my arm so he can see where the muscles that are tightening up, where the spasticity is. It'll light up and it'll make me twitch. So he was targeting my arm to see where it's going to trigger the finger, the flexors. Wow. And once he found it, you'll see it in the video, my fingers tremor or my arm starts to tremor. And he's like, all right, that's the spot. And then he gives me this long needle and he injects a couple of hundred from the syringe in those spots. So if you deal with spasticity or if you deal with a lot of pain, look, I didn't know that even existed. When I was researching, I'd be like, doctors who inject Botox, not for wrinkles. And
wrinkles at the same time. That's great.
Yeah. So if I, when I start getting wrinkles, I'll be like, throw my head under the syringe. Make sure my forehead is right there on the pro feet section. So yeah, it's a really interesting. So I'm uploading that today on YouTube. So, and all of the other podcast, links will be in there too for Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Amazon Prime Podcasts and iHeartRadio Podcasts. Wow. So they'll be all uploaded. It's already edited and ready to go. So then you can work on your post that you do. Yes. And I'm a little late because Easter really came and went and threw me for a loop. So I didn't post anything last week. So this week, we're doing it now.
All of our millions of followers are wondering.
Oh my God. All of our 61 followers. I'm so sorry. I hope you're enjoying. I hope you enjoy and get a lot out of the visit I had with my doctor. And we're going to be, it's incredible. And I'm learning how to use more technology as far as the effects and transitions to make it more interesting. So it's not just our faces or the doctor's face talking. You know, I'm learning a lot more about LUTs. Never knew what LUTs was, and transitions and stuff like that, and how to change the look of things and add things. So that was another reason why it took me longer, because I really am taking my time with trying to play around with other things. So, but it'll be up tonight, and next week we'll be back on track. So that next week is this episode. So
isn't it Debbie? Debbie first?
No, it's actually Debbie. You're right. Right.
Debbie, yes.
Yeah. So this week, tonight I'm putting up Dr. Rye's episode with me, and then next week I'm going to finish editing Debbie's, who's a good friend of yours, who deals with a lot of health issues, but not stroke, but it doesn't matter because she can relate and she understands and talk about that spoon theory.
That's right. That's right.
I just have to find the images to put up for her video. So yeah, by next week we'll be back on track, and we'll get an episode every Sunday night or Monday. So we're good to go. And please, we need more followers and subscribers on YouTube. The Facebook, we're not doing so hot. TikTok's big, but not only with survivors. I'm trying to put more into caregivers as well. I have other followers just from random links and stuff. So TikTok's our best one. Instagram, that's picking up. Okay. So it's the whole subscribe, like, follow, and comment, because every comment and engagement thing we have really pushes that algorithm and gets it pushed out. So we look like we're giving you interesting and fun and educational content, and people want to really see that.
It doesn't just look like it. We are giving you.
Yes. Right. Absolutely. Every episode is enthralling, and you can't scroll away.
That's right. That's right.
Scrolling away hurts us too. So stop and listen.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So, Bren, this was, as always, a great conversation. And we'll catch up during the week, I'm sure. And then we will record again next week.
We're recording on Thursday, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll try to reschedule those two.
Perfect. Yes. Sounds good. Okay.
Chris and Misty. Okay.
It sounds good. Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go find dog poop and maybe take a little rest. And I hope you do the same, but no poop.
No
poop for you. All right. All right, Brent. Okay. Give my love to the family.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching, everyone.